Dodge van, or Dodge pickup truck he has in stock. First, you get the lowest price you can from your dealer. Then Dodge will send you a check for $200. It's easy. Ask your local Dodge dealer about it today.
When I was just a kid, Dad always said, "Son, nothing's too good for our house. I use Glidden Spread Latex house paint. Goes on smooth, cleans up in water. And son, it's tough." So I'm using Glidden Spread Latex on my place. After all, if you do something, it's worth doing right. Huh, Pop?
Spread Latex house paint when nothing's too good.
Available at Hazelton Lumber Company, Hills Flat Lumber Company, and Lassen Lumber.
Walter Scott, a key informant in the FBI's Patricia Hearst case, says he was lying about seeing Miss Hearst at her parents' home in Las Vegas and New York. Scott told a reporter today that he had been drinking and taking pain pills and that he was under pressure from the FBI. Speaking in Santa Barbara this morning, Senator Alan Cranston had harsh words for a Senate bill that is designed to reform federal criminal codes. He said despite the experience of Watergate and disclosures by congressional committees and the news media, the CIA and the FBI still have a mania for secrecy and spying. On a lighter note, several canoeists took a dunking in the cold waters of the American River today, but it was all part of the lessons of a Red Cross safety school. Students from 11 western states, Alaska and Hawaii, are learning safety canoeing from one of the country's top instructors.
Tom Johnson is a dynamic 57-year-old, former manager of an Olympic kayak team, 3 times member of the U.S. canoeing team in the World Championships, and a tough teacher.
You're turning your paddle too much each time. You're flipping it too far.
In his 10-day course on the American River, students paddle from 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon, until they get it right. The students range from Coast Guardsmen to fish and game personnel, and the object is to make them qualified instructors when they're finished with the course.
Well, we expect that the people that actually were beginners here 3 days ago, that at the end of a 10-day course, that I can actually comment or confidently say that they can go and teach Red Cross basic canoeing. Now, we're really concentrating. I mean, I'm real emphatic about a lot of things and that, and working very hard to make them understand so that they in turn can pass along these various things about the different strokes and the reasons for them.
The American River is a good place to learn water safety. Since 1965, there have been 84 drownings on the river below the Nimbus Dam area. Teaching canoe safety, as this course does, may well help to prevent such needless tragedies in the future. Mary Murphy, KCRA News in Sacramento.
Indians from all over the western states have gathered in Folsom for the 2nd annual All-Indian Rodeo and Fair. Booths displaying Indian art and crafts have been set up at Folsom Park. Exhibitors begin arriving on Thursday, and they're selling such items as rings, earrings, bracelets, and turquoise being the most prominent stone. One of the other events, of course, is the rodeo, with the action tonight and tomorrow. And today's festivities were highlighted by an authentic Indian parade. It was a good day and a bad day for Bay Area baseball fans. Paul Pfotenhauer will have all the details when we return.
Now, there's a sign that means what it says, and it's been that way all along. Whenever you need value for your hard-earned car dollar, you've learned to trust Suburban Ford. During our current cream of the crop sale, you can choose down there from hundreds of new 75 Fords in all shapes and models. So if you're interested in October-style closeout prices now, look first, as always, at the big Ford store. Suburban Ford, Interstate 80 at Madison.
My blouse told me that I need new right guard double protection.
My uniform told me I need new right guard double protection.
Check your clothes. If they don't look and smell fresh, try this. New Right Guard, double protection, antiperspirant. It helps protect you and your clothes from wetness, stains, and odor.
My coat told me I need new Right Guard double protection.
Right Guard products contain no zirconium.
You're out! Okay, you're safe. Hold it! High C break! High C break! Come here, slugger. High C's much better than a silly old game anyway. High C has twice as much vitamin C as powdered mixes and most fruit punches.
Yeah.
And 10% real fruit juice. And now, High C frozen concentrate in your grocer's freezer cabinet. You were out, you know that, don't you?
I know.
This wasn't planned, just seeing the spot with the kids. But it's a good night for kids to go out to watch the Solons.
It really is. They're playing the Hawaiian Islanders tonight at 8 o'clock. But it's a giveaway night all the way. I think the Sacramento Solons are giving everything away but their uniforms. Tonight, now that's fairly complicated, so you're going to have to listen closely. The first 4,000 kids to come will get free batting helmets. The second 3,000 will receive free bats. And the last 3,000 will get free souvenir pennants.
How old do you have to be?
16 or under. So there's a lot of things to give away. You ought to go over there, bring your kids over there.
Maybe I could use a fake ID or something.
Anyhow, in Major League Baseball play this afternoon, a two-run homer by Joe Torre. His fifth of the year carried the New York Mets over the San Francisco Giants by a score of 4-2. The Giants never really threatened to score a lot of runs off Craig Swan, who got his first win of the year. Pete Falcone was tagged with loss. Elsewhere, Jose Cardinal went on a tear with a couple of hits and RBIs, including a solo blast to help Chicago topple Houston. In the American League, a sacrifice fly by Billy North in the ninth inning gave the A's a slim victory over Milwaukee at the Oakland Coliseum. Minnesota bombed Cleveland. And on today's Game of the Week seen here on Channel 3, the Red Sox shut out Chicago behind the strong pitching of Robert Morrit. The Boston Red Sox are loaded with young talent this year. Jim Price, Bernie Carbo, and Dwight Evans are just a few players out of many. But one man who is perhaps the best and probably the most popular among his teammates is a 23-year-old rookie from the University of Southern California.
In appearance, Fred Lynn is a shy fellow with inner confidence. According to John Pesky, the Red Sox batting instructor, Lynn is not a pop-off or a smart aleck, nor does he criticize anyone. He accepts advice from any ball player, but more importantly, Lynn is a natural for the game.
God was good to him. He gave him a lot of talent. And that's the thing. God gives you so much, and then it's up to you to develop it if you can. And it takes some time and some work and some effort, and this what this young man has done.
The flashy center fielder says he has no long-term goal set for himself, which is unrealistic for a guy who is often compared to Stan Musial. Lynn doesn't mind being compared to such a great player, but adds he wants to be his own man. Success hasn't changed him any.
It hasn't changed me personally. It's changed my lifestyle a little bit in that I have, I'm recognized by the public a lot more, on the East Coast, not so much out here. But in Boston, I get recognized, and I kind of have to get away from the crowds, now and then to get my privacy, and, that's a little bit of a change.
Not many youngsters fresh out of college can walk into a major league camp and find himself a starting job. But Fred Lynn has done much better than that. He is a top candidate for Rookie of the Year honors. John Malos, KCRA Sports.
Don Byes has a chance to walk away with $40,000 in first prize money in tomorrow's final round of the Greater Hartford Open. Byes, who has never won on the Pro Golf Tour, carded a 67 for a one-shot lead over Hubert Green, who shot a 68. Snead and Nelson follow next in line, while Al Geiberger roared in with a 7-under par 64. On the Women's Pro Tour, Joanne Wassam is the leader for tomorrow's final round of the Pattyburg Classic in Minnesota. 11-year-old Karen Steed from Pennsylvania won today's 38th annual All-American Soapbox Derby at Akron, Ohio. She becomes the first girl to win that event in 40 years. Kathy Lewis from Elk Grove, just south of Sacramento, finished 5th. In pro football, you might say the San Francisco 49ers have a score to settle with the Rams when the two clubs meet in tonight's game at the Los Angeles Coliseum. The 49ers, who have lost to the Rams 11 of their last 12 exhibition games, will start Steve Spurrier at quarterback for the first time this year. Tomorrow, the Pittsburgh Steelers will pay another visit to the Bay Area, this time to play the Oakland Raiders at the Berkeley Stadium. Even if the Raiders demolish the Steelers in tomorrow's clash, it won't take the sting out of last year's loss to Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship game. The The Raiders have already announced that linebacker Ted Hendricks will make his debut to toughen up that defensive unit. Also, 47-year-old George Blanda is scheduled to be the Raiders' starting quarterback. The Raiders and Steelers play tomorrow at the Berkeley Stadium. The game time's at 12:30, and tickets are still available. 15,000 seats are still unsold. The Denver Nuggets of the ABA have something to smile about with the addition of 2 top draft choices they signed this year. A crowd of about 5,000 in Denver sat in to watch the debut of David Thompson and Marvin Webster. Only Webster didn't play because of a broken foot.
Summer crowd of more than 5,000 watched North Carolina State All-American David Thompson make his Denver debut. It was only the climax of a Denver Nugget rookie camp, but the fans were there to see Thompson, number 15 in white, do his thing. He didn't disappoint them. In 32 minutes of playing time, Thompson scored 39 points, got 12 rebounds, and had 5 assists. Thompson showed he can play both ends of the floor with a hustling block shot. This also could have been the last basketball game in Denver's Action Arena. A new 18,000-seat building will greet the Nuggets in the fall. This is Larry Zimmer reporting from Denver.
Harry Stockman will be back with all the weekend weather in just a moment.
Saving money makes sense. And with the Saving Center's discounts on auto parts, camping equipment, and fishing tackle, you'll always save. Now through this Tuesday at 9, there's a special discount sale on backpacking equipment, utensils, and freeze-dried foods. Save on sleeping bags for the entire family. Save on stoves, lanterns, coolers, heaters, everything you need for camping. Remember, the Saving Center's discount sale on camping equipment ends this Tuesday.
The problem with
at
the Giants
9
is
p.m.
that, well, I don't know what to make of it. I really thought they were really going to be entrenched in the Bay Area now that we got it all settled. But you recall the National League gave approval, a conditional approval of the sale to Bob Lurie and Bob Short on Tuesday. Well, they didn't say what the conditions were, but now we know what they are. A San Francisco newspaper is saying there are 3 conditions set down by the league. The first one is that Bob Lurie must have the controlling vote of the league's owners or 55% of the stock. Now, Bob Short, who has put up $4 million for that, is quoted as saying by one paper, hey, forget it. If I'm not going to control the club, forget it. I'll take my $4 million and go. The second contingency is that if the Giants don't average 1 million customers over the next 3 years, they can leave without facing court costs. And that if that 50-cent tax a ticket attached to help renovate Candlestick Park for the 49ers, it must be dropped as part of the conditions of that sale. And I apologize for my voice, which is going fast. White Sox owner Bill Veeck says he is going to open spring camp March 1st. He's going to have 25 ball players take him down to, I think, Sarasota, Florida is where the White Sox work out. Veeck, who is and always has been his own man, believe me, says he's been intimidated by the other 23 club owners who are holding off on spring training until their contract with the Players Association is signed.
There has been so much emphasis on courts of law and on suits and negotiate and so on that it's lost sight of the fact that what we are doing is putting on a baseball game. And anything that delays that getting the action back onto the field is hurtful to player and management alike. People are getting tired of it, in my opinion. At least I am.
Raider tickets are going up $1 for most seats, 50 cents for bleachers. Incidentally, John Madden and Jim Otto were to be on the Sacramento State campus late this afternoon to look at that site as a possible facility for their summer training camp. Tournament favorite Jack Nicklaus is 1 shot behind leader Fred Marty. With play suspended, Nicklaus had 2 holes to go in that Tournament Players Championship in Florida. John January, J.C. Snead, and Tom Watson are all tied with Nicklaus at 67, 1 stroke behind Marty. They'll resume play tomorrow. Well, Rick Barry saying today that he is a borderline diabetic. That may put the burden in future years for the Golden Gate Warriors on Jamal Wilkes as far as scoring is concerned. Here's a report on Jamal Wilkes from John Malos.
Well, I think he's just intelligent. Most people wonder what you mean when you say intelligence on defense. I think that he does some things that, it's kind of a mystery about him.
That's the impression Jamal Wilkes leaves on everyone who watches the Warriors play. He acquired the nickname Smooth as Silk from his teammates during his freshman year at UCLA. Jamal has been in the NBA only 2 years, but from day one played like a veteran. His consistent play rewarded him with Rookie of the Year honors last season. The Silk is so smooth, people don't realize the contribution he's made. Ever since joining the Warriors, he's been the team's 2nd leading scorer. On defense, he's superb. Despite his slim build, 6'6", 190 pounds, he continues to outplay guys like Elvin Hayes, and in this case, George McGinnis.
I don't think I'm at my peak now. I think I'll be at my peak maybe in 3 years.
Former UCLA coach Johnny Wooden called him the ideal basketball player, while skeptics said he couldn't play in the NBA. But Jamal Wilkes took it all in stride, just like he does everything else. John Malos, KCRA Sports, in Oakland.
I'm told that we have a special sports bicentennial feature tonight, so while you and I sit back and...
It'll change, and that's what is reflected in our forecast. Let's check the current conditions now, which show that the temperature now is 84 at Executive Airport, barometer 29 and 93 100 inches, the humidity 38%, and the wind out of the south at about 16 miles per hour. For the forecast for the northern San Joaquin, fair through Monday with continued pleasant days. For the Diablo Valley, fair through Monday except for patchy morning low clouds. For San Francisco, fog and low clouds near the coast extending inland night and morning, but otherwise fair through Monday. For northwestern California, fog and low clouds near the coast extending into coastal valleys night and morning, but otherwise fair through Monday. For the upper Sacramento Valley, fair through Monday except for some high clouds. For the Sierra Nevada, partly cloudy at times through Monday with a chance of isolated afternoon and evening thunder showers, windy afternoons. And for Sacramento, fair through Monday with pleasant days. And that's our weather.
88 tomorrow. That's not too bad. We'll be back with some final stories right after this.
While you sleep, KCRA News Radio 132 is working to wake you up informed with anchorman Larry Page, reporter Keith Adams, desk editor Mike Smith, Dan Shively's Airwatch reports, plus Northern California's largest broadcast news team to bring you the news each morning.
Good morning, this is Larry Page, and at 6 a.m. these are the top stories from KCRA News Radio 132.
The government says car makers must provide 5-mile-per-hour bumpers to protect their cars. But Volvo doesn't stop there. Volvo's front end is designed to absorb highway speed impacts to protect the passenger compartment. Bumpers are designed to protect cars. Volvo's front end is designed to protect people.
Go to Turner Motors or Winter Volvo Incorporated and test drive a new Volvo.
There's a big sale on now at the Fashionable Flea. Shirts regularly priced from $5 to $17 are now priced from $3 to $11 at the Fashionable Flea. Short sleeve knit shirts in solid stripes and plaids regularly priced from $5 to $8, now only $3 each or 4 for $10. Pants, brushed denim, jeans, and corduroy, regular $14 to $16, Fashionable Flea priced at only $9. The Fashionable Flea, 3403 Watt Avenue on the corner of Watt and Whitney, and at 6938 65th Street behind Florence Center. Open 7 days a week and weeknights till 9.
Some residents in the north area of Sacramento may have thought they saw 2 UFOs late this morning. They were actually 2 hot air balloons, which, if you'll excuse the pun, were up there to raise a little money for a good cause.
The good cause was muscular dystrophy. The race today pitted 2 local disc jockeys piloted by the father and son duo of Dan and Phil Hacker of Napa. The race was eventually won by Dan, and I don't know if he won because he is the older, more experienced pilot, or if it's the fact that he took off first. Some people call persons who pilot hot air balloons a special breed. I look on them as purely insane. I was up in one once, and once was enough for me. But for them, it is a sport that has become an addiction they don't want to give up.
Well, that's the best part of it. It's just free and easy and floating. You know, here we are on the ground right now, and we're worried about these winds and how they're going to affect the craft. But once they're up in the air, you just flow with the wind, so there's no sensation of speed or motion at all. Habit? Yes, it's an addicting habit is what it is. Once you do it, that gets a hold of you, and you can't let go of it.
For the past 2 days, persons making donations to muscular dystrophy were allowed to take rides with these pilots so they could get a first-hand view of what it's like. So far, it's proving rather successful. As of this afternoon, they had received approximately $4,000 in pledges. That money will be collected and donated to the Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Fund on Labor Day weekend during the National Telethon. Larry Menard, KCRA News.
And there was a little country in downtown Sacramento today. Some old-time fiddlers entertained shoppers on the K Street Mall as a preview to what's going to be coming up at Cal Expo. It's a fiddling contest that will be held there next month. The Sacramento Fiddling Club is dedicated to the revival of old-time tunes that originated in Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Today, they entertained admiring shoppers with their version of I Don't Love Nobody.
Looks like a lot of fun. It really
That's
does.
also the kind of music, if you listen to it very long, you find yourself talking country in no time.
That is
Even if you
true.
were never in the country in your life.
Let me tell you the lineup for tonight. At 7 o'clock, Hee Haw. At 8 o'clock, Emergency. And the Saturday night movie is The Manchurian Candidate. Good movie.
Thank you. Harry and I will be back tonight after the movie. Thank you and good night.
This is Bob Whitman. For complete coverage of nighttime news, the latest sports, and up-to-the-minute weather, join the Channel 3 News team tonight at 11.
The job market is tough for everybody these days, but even harder for the handicapped worker. So employers, when you're looking for a good worker, don't overlook the handicapped.
You can blame those extra inches on too many chocolate sodas, but you'll never place the blame on care.